Hello and welcome. I hope you have already seen some of the other stories like the third level that I've already put. This particular video is going to be about the Tiger King and it is written by Kalki. Now, Kalki is not the real name of this particular author. Now, this is about a Maharaja from pre-independence India, in fact, at the time of the East India Company. Okay, now let's first find out who was Kalki. Okay, Kalki, for those of you who are familiar with Hindu mythology, Kalki is generally the name used for the last avatar, the 10th avatar of Lord Vishnu. Okay, for those of you who are familiar with Hindu mythology, आपको 10 अवतार के नाम मालूम है? मत्स्य, कूर्म, वराह, नरसिम्हा, वामना, नरसिम्हा. I'm missing one. Rama, Krishna, Balarama, Kalki. I'm Parashurama. Parashurama, Rama, Krishna, Balarama, or in some cases they also say Buddha and Kalki. Now, so he has taken this name after that. This is the gentleman who has written this particular story. His name is Ramaswamy Krishnamurti. Okay, R. Krishnamurti. Okay, he was a writer, he was a journalist, he was a poet, he was a critic who used to write under the pen name of Kalki. Okay. He wrote over 120 short stories, some 10 novellas, some 5 novels, 3 historical romances, and many music reviews and political articles. This is a stamp which was issued for him, a 3 rupees stamp on R. Krishna. Usme unka full naam likha hai Krishnamurti, but Kalki Krishnamurti, not Ramaswamy Krishnamurti. Okay, in 1999. Okay, these are interesting things. I just thought I'll show you these photographs. I believe a lot in photographs, the power of storytelling through photographs. These are Kalki, his centenary edition of his selected stories. And this is Ponniyin Selvan. Recently, a movie was made by Mani Ratnam into this particular book. It's a very complicated, very complex book, Ponniyin Selvan, written by Kalki. Okay, this is on the Chola dynasty in the present day Tamil Nadu. And this is the movie poster by Mani Ratnam. You have Trisha, Jayam Ravi, Vikram, Aishwarya Rai, etc. Ponniyin Selvan. Okay, so what is the story about? Okay, let's now come to what exactly is the story about before we get into the actual line-by-line description of the story. This is basically a story on a wealthy and influential king. Tiger King, because this particular king has been told that he is under threat from a tiger, so he needs to kill the tigers in his kingdom. So that's what he keeps on doing. Okay, the ferocious tigers are killed by this particular king. So it's a satire. Satire means mazak udana of a wealthy and influential king. It also kind of highlights the conduct of people in positions of power. When someone is having a lot of power, in what ridiculous manner they essentially behave. It's also a satire on that. And number 3, the foolish conduct by a king who is obsessed with himself. He's obsessed with himself on how to keep himself safe and how to prove that particular astrologer wrong. Okay, so that is what this particular story is all about. Okay, so let's get started after these explanation points about what exactly does the story talk about. Okay, yeah, I hope you can see this clearly on the screen. Okay, you can. The Maharaja of, much of this is quite simple, but I'll keep explaining wherever it is necessary to kind of explain the overall context. The Maharaja of Pratibandhapuram is the hero of this story. He may be identified as His Highness Jamedar General Khiledar Major. Now you see, these names seem almost made up. You know, we don't know whether these kind of titles actually existed at that time. Sata Vyagraha Samhari Maharaja Dhiraja Vishwa Bhuvana Samrat Sir Jilani Jung Bahadur MAD ACTC or CRCK. But this name is often shortened to the Tiger King. So itna lamba naam hai, itne sare naam hai, but he is called the Tiger King. Okay, I have come forward to tell you why he came to be known as the Tiger King. I have no intention of pretending to advance only to end in a strategic withdrawal. Basically says that I am not going to get scared. I am going to tell you the story. I am not going to say that, no, I will tell you what this thing, why he's called the Tiger King, and then get scared and not tell you the story. I will tell you the story. Even if there is a threat of a Stuka bomber, even then I will not be this is basically some kind of, very subtle humor being used by Kalki. The Stuka, if it likes, can beat a hasty retreat from my story, so that the Stuka bomber also will not be able to scare me. The Stuka may get scared, but I will still tell you the story of why this person was called the Tiger King. Okay, I'm going to read it from a distance so that it's clear, because there's too much of text. Right at the start, it is imperative. Imperative means it's important to disclose a matter of vital importance about the Tiger King. Everyone who reads of him will experience the natural desire to meet a man of his indomitable courage face to face. So he says that anyone who meets him will want to meet someone like him, will want to get familiar with him. Indomitable means impossible to frighten or to defeat. Okay, I've written all this in the notes, so you don't have to really worry, but keep the book with you so that it's easier for you to understand. Okay, as Bharata said to Ram, so he's now quoting from the Ramayana, Dashratha, the Tiger King, about Dashratha, the Tiger King has reached that final abode of all living creatures. In other words, the Tiger King is dead. Now, what is interesting is that Kalki has started the story with the death of the Tiger King. Now, you may think that was that the best way? Why did he tell us right at the beginning that he is dead? By doing so, he's making you curious. How did he die? How did he die? So this whole story is told in what in movies we call flashback. So flashback mein ye story sunai ja rahi hai, and we now know that Tiger King is dead, but we don't know how he died. And how he died is probably the most interesting aspect, an ironic aspect of this particular story. Now, the manner of his death is a matter of extraordinary interest, as he is himself saying it. It can be revealed only at the end of the tale. So you have to stay. हम बोलते, कुछ लोग बोलते हैं ना, मैं भी कभी कभी बोलता हूँ, वीडियो के end तक रहना. तो इस वीडियो के end तक रहना if you want to know how he died. Okay. So Kalki is also saying the same thing. He could also have been on YouTube and doing these kind of videos. The most fantastic aspect of his demise was that, demise means death, was that as soon as he was born, astrologers had foretold means predicted, that one day the Tiger King would actually have to die. Abhi ye bhi koi bolne ki baat hai. Anyone who is born will obviously die at some point of time or the other. The child will grow up to become the warrior of warriors, hero of heroes, champion of champions. And they stopped. They bit their lips and swallowed hard. When compelled to continue, the astrologers came out with it, means they revealed it. This is a secret which should not be revealed at all, but they're revealing it. And yet we are forced to speak out. The child born under this star, the astrological star, will one day have to meet its death. So now they're trying to kind of golmol karne ki koshish kar rahe hain. They're not revealing the truth immediately. At that very moment, a great miracle took place. An astonishing phrase emerged from the lips of the 10-day-old Jilani Jang Bahadur, which is one of the names of the Tiger King, right? This is the only place where this name has been used by Kalki in this story. Oh, wise prophets. Prophet is someone who predicts. Now this, you see a 10-day-old infant speaking. Can you believe it? Obviously not. Which is why there is a bit of what we call the suspension of disbelief in this particular story. You need to kind of, this cannot happen, but for the sake of the story, you say, okay, main maan leta hu, I will continue reading the story, though I know exactly a 10-day-old infant cannot speak, and especially not speak so clearly. Everyone, so he's addressing those astrologers. Everyone stood transfixed in stupefaction. Now, stupefaction essentially means surprise and amazement. Okay, they looked wildly at each other and blinked. Oh, wise prophets, it was I who spoke. So this infant is saying, look here, I am the one who spoke. This time, there were no grounds for doubt. It was the infant born just 10 days ago who had enunciated the words so clearly. Enunciated means expressed, spoken so clearly. The chief astrologer took off his spectacles and gazed intently at the baby. All those who are born will one day have to die. we don't need your predictions to know that. So just imagine a 10-day-old infant is saying this. As I said, suspension of disbelief. There would be some sense in it if you could tell us the manner of that death. The royal infant uttered these words in his little squeaky voice. Squeaky voice. The chief astrologer placed his finger on his nose in wonder. A baby, barely 10 days old, opens its lips in speech. Not only that, it also raises intelligent questions. Incredible. Rather like the bulletins issued by the War Office than facts. So they're obviously completely amazed and surprised at these facts. The fact that the 10-day-old infant could speak clearly, and ask intelligent question, right? So क्वेश्चन आए तो ये आंसर लिखना ये पैराग्राफ में से. The chief astrologer took his finger off his nose and fixed his eyes upon the little prince. The prince was born in the hour of the bull. The bull and the tiger are enemies. Therefore, death comes from the tiger, he explained. So basically, while he said that he will die, the astrologer wanted to convey the fact that there is a threat to that particular prince from the tiger, right? And the reason he gives is an astrological reason, right? So this particular paragraph. You may think that Crown Prince Jung Bahadur was thrown into a quake. Quake means hil gaya, right? When he heard the word tiger. That was exactly what did not happen. As soon as he heard it pronounced, the Crown Prince gave a deep growl. Growl, almost, basically what he has, by using the word growl here, right, he's kind of equating him almost with the tiger, because he's called the Tiger King. Terrifying words emerged from his lips. Terrifying, another word, important word being used. Let tigers beware. That is, tigers have to be scared of me, not the other way around, because the astrologer has said that he is under threat from the tiger, but he is saying let tigers beware. Beware means they need to be careful of him. This account is only a rumor rife in Pratibandhapuram. Ye word bhi yaad rakhna, he was the king of this place. But with hindsight is something which you realize later. We may conclude it was based on some truth. So initially he says this was a rumor. Obviously not everybody will be inside the palace when this happened, but this rumor gained ground. But Kalki is saying that there cannot be any smoke without fire. So this may have happened based on some truth. So there may have been some truth. Maybe the infant spoke, but can it happen? Pata nahi. Okay. Crown Prince Jung Bahadur grew taller and stronger day by day. No other miracle marked his childhood days apart from the event already described. Okay, so apart from this, there was nothing dramatic happening in his early life. The boy drank the milk of an English cow, was brought up by an English nanny. So, he was kind of very Western kind of upbringing. Tutored in English by an Englishman, saw nothing but English films, exactly as the crown princes of all the other Indian states did, because at this time, East India Company was the one which was in charge of many parts of India. So many of the princes were kind of, they had control. So the influence of English in his life is what this paragraph details. Please note it. This has all the details. When he came of age at 20, the state which had been with the court of wards until then came into his hands. What is the court of wards? The court of wards was a legal body which was created by the East India Company. So when he reached the age of 20, the state, that is his kingdom, Pratibandhapuram, was under the court of wards. But after he reached the age of 20, it came to his hands. He was now the ruler. But everyone in the kingdom remembered the astrologer's prediction. Okay, many continued to discuss the matter. Slowly, it came to the Maharaja's ears. There were innumerable forests in the Pratibandhapuram state. They had tigers in them. The Maharaja knew the old saying, you may kill even a cow in self-defense. There could certainly be no objection to killing tigers in self-defense. The Maharaja started out on a tiger hunt. So because he thought, मैं सब tiger को मार देता हूँ, I will kill all tigers, so ना रहेगा बांस, ना बजेगी बांसुरी. वो हिंदी में मुहावरा है ना. So basically to say that if there are no tigers, I will no longer be under any kind of threat. The Maharaja was thrilled beyond measure when he killed his first tiger. He sent for the state astrologer and showed him the dead beast. What did you say? What do you say now? He demanded. Your Majesty may kill 99 tigers in exactly the same manner. Drawled means, saying something a little longer, He would have said, Your Majesty may kill 99 tigers in exactly the same manner. But, and then he kind of does not continue. But what? Speak without fear. But you must be very careful with the 100th tiger. So he says 99 tigers se problem nahi hai, century maroge tabhi problem hai. But what if the 100th tiger was also killed? Then I will tear up all my books on astrology, set fire to them, and I shall cut off my tuft. Tuft means bodhi, crop my hair short and become an insurance agent. This is Kalki's way of introducing humor. I mean, an astrologer becoming an insurance agent. The astrologer finished on an incoherent note. We don't know whether there were any kind of insurance agents at that time. That's another interesting aspect. Okay, so this is the king. This is the astrologer. From that day onwards, it was celebration time for all the tigers inhabiting Pratibandhapuram. Why? Because no one else except the king was allowed to kill them, right? So that sense they were safe because they thought, how will he kill so many tigers? But they were wrong. The state banned tiger hunting by anyone except the Maharaja. A proclamation was issued to the effect that if anyone dared to fling as so much as a stone, ek patthar bhi maroge, so all his wealth and property would be confiscated, would be taken over by the state. The Maharaja vowed, that is, he took a promise that he would attend to all other matters only after killing the 100 tigers. What I said at the beginning, that, it is the obsession with his own safety, that the welfare of the state, the welfare of the people, the public good is of no importance to him. He's only obsessed with saving himself, right? And that's what he wants to do till he reaches the 100th tiger. The Maharaja, initially the king seemed well set to realize his ambition. Not that he faced no dangers. There were times when the bullet missed its mark. The tiger leapt upon him and he fought the beast with his bare hands. Each time it was the Maharaja who won. So he's managing to kind of kill and overpower most of the tigers in Pratibandhapuram state. At another time, he was in danger of losing his throne. Now, what happened? Why did he lose? Why was he in danger of losing his throne? Because a high-ranking British officer visited Pratibandhapuram. He was very fond of hunting tigers and fonder of being photographed with the tigers. So, पहले के आपने photograph देखे हैं? Tiger को मारा होगा, and the people will take a group photograph with the main king or somebody standing with his foot on top of the tiger with his rifle in his hand. It was something considered very to be done very proudly at that time. And fonder of being photographed with the tigers he had shot. As usual, he wished to hunt tigers in Pratibandhapuram, but the Maharaja was firm in his resolve. Resolve matlab, he did not kind of give up. Tiger to main hi marunga. He refused permission. I can organize any other hunt. You may go on a boar hunt. Wild boars, not pigs, but of the same family. You may conduct a mouse hunt. Chuhon ko maar sakte ho. We are ready for a mosquito hunt. I mean, again, showing something which is impossible and a little ridiculous. But tiger hunt, that is impossible. The British officer's secretary sent word to the Maharaja through the Diwan. Diwan is like the minister, that the Durai himself did not have to kill the tiger. Durai means, it's a Tamil word, which is why it is in italics. It means chief or a leader. That the Durai himself did not have to kill the tiger. The Maharaja could do the actual killing. What was important to the Durai was that it was a photograph of himself holding the gun. Usko photograph mein interest tha. And standing over the tiger's carcass, that is the dead body. But the Maharaja would not agree even to this proposal. He did not agree. If he relented now, that if he agreed to it now, what would he do if other British officers turned up for tiger hunts? If they give one, he didn't want to set a precedent. If one started, then others will say, oh, you gave permission to him. Because everyone will not know that only a photograph has been taken. They would assume that he has actually gone on the tiger hunt and killed that tiger with which he has been photographed. So he would be setting a precedent, and he did not want everyone else to start hunting tigers in Pratibandhapuram. Because he prevented a British officer from fulfilling his desire, the Maharaja stood in danger of losing the kingdom himself, because East India Company was very powerful at that point in time. The Maharaja and the Diwan held deliberations. That means they discussed over this issue. As a result, a telegram was dispatched forthwith to a famous British company of jewelers in Calcutta. Sent samples of expensive diamond rings of different designs. Okay, so they thought about this particular plan. Some 50 rings arrived. The Maharaja sent the whole lot to the British officer's good lady, that is the British officer's wife. The king and the minister expected the Duraisani, that is the wife of the British officer, to choose 1 or 2 rings and send the rest back. But what did she do? The greedy woman, within no time at all, the Duraisani sent her reply, "Thank you very much for your gift." She thought all the 50 rings were meant for her. So kafi nuksan ho gaya. Okay. In 2 days, a bill for 3 lakh of rupees. At that time, 3 lakh of rupees, just imagine, came from the British jewelers from Calcutta. The Maharaja was happy that though he had lost 3 lakh of rupees, he had managed to retain his kingdom. So that's a price he had to pay in order to ensure that the British officer did not insist on the tiger hunt, and because of the refusal, he did not kind of confiscate the kingdom, Pratibandhapuram state, from the tiger king. The Maharaja's tiger hunts continued to be highly successful. Within 10 years, he was able to kill 70 tigers, but still you need to kill 29 more or 30 more. And then an unforeseen hurdle brought his mission to a standstill. The tiger population became extinct. There are no more tigers left after 10 years in Pratibandhapuram, forest of Pratibandhapuram. Who knows whether the tigers practiced birth control? Again, humor by Kalki. So if you are asked a question about instances of humor by Kalki, you need to highlight all that I'm mentioning. Or committed harakiri. Now, harakiri means suicide or taking some extreme step. Okay. In the earlier instance, it shows the king's cleverness. Okay, even though he spent 3 lakh rupees. Or simply ran away from the state because they desired to be shot by British hands alone. Because if they go to another state, they would be killed by British officers. One day, the Maharaja sent for the Diwan. Diwan Sahab, aren't you aware of the fact that 30 tigers still remain to be shot by this gun of mine? He asked, brandishing his gun, that is flashing his gun. Shuddering, yani ki shivering and getting scared at the sight of the gun, the Diwan cried out, "Your Majesty, I am not a tiger." He thought he is going to be targeted. "Which idiot would call you a tiger?" "No, and I am not a gun." "You are neither tiger nor gun, Diwan Sahab. I summoned you here for a different purpose. I have decided to get married." The Diwan began to babble even more. "Your Majesty, I have 2 wives already. If I marry you..." So the Diwan is a bit of a stupid fellow. "Don't talk nonsense. Why should I marry you? What I want is a tiger. Your Majesty, please think it over. Your ancestors were married to the sword." You know, it was like a formal function that, married to the sword. Also, it can mean in a metaphorical sense that, you use the sword in a daring, in a brave manner, courageous manner. If you like, marry the gun. A tiger king is more than enough for the state. If it does not need a tiger queen as well. The Maharaja gave a loud crack of laughter. "I am not thinking of marrying either a tiger or a gun, but a girl from the ranks of human beings. You stupid Diwan." Ab ye nahi bola. "First, you may draw up statistics." Now he is trying to be very meticulous. Okay. He's saying draw up statistics of tiger populations in the different native states. That is, the girl doesn't matter. The state where there are more tigers matter. Now look at, how he is trying to kind of marry someone for the sake of tigers, shows the extent of the ridiculousness, right? That's why it is a satire. So agar aapse pucha jaye ki explain how it is a satire, this is an interesting aspect, because normally it will not happen. You would marry on the basis of the girl, you would marry on the basis of the girl's family, on the basis of the power of the kingdom. But here the tiger king wants to marry on the basis of the number of tigers in that particular kingdom. So he says, draw up statistics, find the number of tiger population in the different native states. Next, you may investigate if there is a girl I can marry in the royal family of a state with a large tiger population. The Diwan followed his orders. He found the right girl from a state which possessed a large number of tigers. Maharaja Jang Bahadur killed 5 or 6 tigers each time he visited his father-in-law. In this manner, 99 tiger skins adorned the walls of the reception hall in the Pratibandhapuram palace. So, हर बारी 4-5 टाइगर्स को मार के 99 तक पहुंच गया. अभी सेंचुरी मारना बाकी है. Last one tiger is left. The Maharaja's anxiety reached a fever pitch, means extreme. He became very anxious when there remained just one tiger to achieve his tally of 100. He had this one thought during the day and the same dream at night. So he was obsessed with it. He kept thinking about it all the time. By this time, the tiger farms had run dry, even in his father in law's kingdom. It became impossible to locate tigers anywhere, yet only one more was needed. If he could kill just that one single beast, the Maharaja would have no fears left. He would think that he is now invincible, he cannot die. He could give up tiger hunting altogether. But he had to be extremely careful with that last tiger. What had the late chief astrologer said? So the chief astrologer mar gaya hai. He has died by the time he is killing all these tigers. Even after killing 99 tigers, the Maharaja should beware of the 100th. True enough. The tiger was a savage beast after all. One had to be wary of it. But where was that 100th tiger to be found? It seemed easier to find tiger's milk than a live tiger. Thus the Maharaja was sunk in gloom. Udas ho gaya. But soon came the happy news which dispelled that gloom, which kind of removed that sadness. In his own state, sheep began to disappear frequently from a hillside village, which means that there was a tiger in the vicinity of that hillside village. It was first ascertained, means confirmed, that this was not the work of Khadar Mia Sahib or Virsami Naikar, both famed for their ability to swallow sheep whole, that they are like sheep smugglers or sheep eaters, mutton eaters. Surely a tiger was at work. The villagers ran to inform the Maharaja. The Maharaja announced a 3-year exemption from all taxes for that village and set out on the hunt at once. So he was happy. He was rewarding that village and the villagers. They don't have to pay lagan, the tax, for 3 years because there was a tiger there. The tiger was not easily found. It seemed as if it had wantonly, deliberately hid itself in order to flout the Maharaja's will, because a tiger also perhaps knew that it would be killed by the Maharaja. I mean, if you have to extend the ridiculousness of the story, of the characters of the story, not the story. The Maharaja was equally determined. He refused to leave the forest until the tiger was found. As the days passed, the Maharaja's fury, that is anger, and obstinacy, yani ki, that he is very insistent, jid, jisko bolte hain Hindi mein, mounted alarmingly. Many officers lost their jobs because the tiger could not be found. One day when his rage was at its height, the Maharaja called the Diwan and ordered him to double the land tax forthwith. Because the tiger was not found, he so you see the whimsical way of the tiger king, that when he wants it, he will reduce the taxes or remove it. When he gets angry, he will double the land tax. The people will become discontented. Then our state too will fall a prey to the Indian National Congress. So the Diwan says that the people will feel angry that you are kind of increasing the land tax, and they will go and join the Indian National Congress. So the freedom movement was also on. So this story obviously has been written after 1885. I mean, it is about a time after 1885, because that's when the Indian National Congress was established in December 1885. In that case, you may resign from your post. The Diwan went home convinced that if the Maharaja did not find the tiger soon, the results would be catastrophic, would be disastrous. He felt life returning to him only when he saw the tiger which had been brought from the People's Park in Madras and kept hidden in his house. Again, something which is unbelievable. I mean, a tiger which has been smuggled out of People's Park, assuming it's like a zoo kind of thing, and hidden in his house. Diwan ke ghar pe ek sher ko बांध के रखा हुआ है, बाघ को. At midnight, when the town slept in peace, the Diwan and his aged wife dragged the tiger to the car. Now, just imagine even more ridiculous thing. A tiger is being made to travel in a car and shoved it into the seat. And shoved it, dhakka maar ke seat mein bitha diya. So the tiger is sitting on a seat. The Diwan himself drove the car straight to the forest where the Maharaja was hunting. When they reached the forest, the tiger launched its satyagraha and refused to get out of the car. So satyagraha is a word which is used with Gandhian kind of ideology, right? So deliberately personifying the tiger. So this is an important literary device used here, that the tiger has been personified by saying that the tiger launched a satyagraha like the freedom activists of the freedom fighters of the Indian National Congress, and refused to get out of the car. The Diwan was thoroughly exhausted in his efforts to haul the beast out of the car and push it down to the ground. On the following day, the same old tiger wandered into the Maharaja's presence and stood as if in humble supplication. यानी कि supplication means I am like a gulam of yours कि मार दो मेरे को. Master, what do you command of me? It was with boundless joy that the Maharaja took careful aim at the beast. The tiger fell in a crumpled heap. So he took aim and the tiger was shot. 100th tiger. I have killed the 100th tiger. My vow has been fulfilled. The Maharaja was overcome with elation, with joy. Elation means joy. Ordering the tiger to be brought to the capital in a grand procession, the Maharaja hastened away in his car. So he went away. After the Maharaja left, the hunters went to take a closer look at the tiger. The tiger looked back at them, rolling its eyes in bafflement. I'm a little surprised at this question here by NCRT because story में लिखा है late chief astrologer. So what can happen to the astrologer now? Story पढ़ने के बाद question लिखना चाहिए ना. After the Maharaja left, the hunters went to take a closer look at the tiger. The tiger looked back at them, rolling its eyes in bafflement. The men realized that the tiger was not dead. The bullet had missed it. It had fainted from the shock of the bullet whizzing past. So the bullet had missed the tiger. It had just fainted. Behosh ho gaya tha. Okay. The hunters wondered what they should do. They decided that the Maharaja must not come to know because the Maharaja thinks that he has killed the tiger, right? If he did, they could lose their job. So one of the hunters took aim from a distance of 1 foot and shot at point blank range the tiger. This time he killed it without missing his mark. So what has happened now as a result is that the count of the Maharaja is 99. The 100th tiger has been killed by one of the hunters, right? It has been killed by one of the hunters. Then as commanded by the king, the dead tiger was taken in possession through the town and buried. A tomb was erected over it. A few days later, the Maharaja's son's 3rd birthday was celebrated. Until then, the Maharaja had given his entire mind over to tiger hunting. He had had no time to spare for the crown prince. So now he's thinking, now I have given up tiger hunting. But now the king turned his attention to the child. He wished to give him some special gift on his birthday. He went to the shopping center in Pratibandhapuram and searched every shop but couldn't find anything suitable. Finally, he spotted a wooden tiger in a toy shop and decided this was the perfect king, a tiger king gifting a tiger to the 3-year-old crown prince. The wooden tiger cost only 2 annas at that time, the currency, and a quarter, 2 annas and a quarter. But a shopkeeper knew that if he quoted such a low price to the Maharaja, he would be punished under the rules of the emergency. So he said, Your Majesty, this is an extremely rare example of craftsmanship. A bargain at 300 rupees. From 2 annas and a quarter, he made it 300 rupees. Very good. Let this be your offering to the crown prince on his birthday. So the tiger king, kanjus admi hai, miser hai. So when he says 300 rupees, he said, okay, let this be your gift to the crown prince. Okay. And took it away with him. On that day, father and son played with the tiny wooden tiger like this. Okay. And it had been carved by an unskilled carpenter. So it was not a great work of craftsmanship as the shopkeeper had claimed. Its surface was rough, tiny slivers of wood. जो wood जब polish किया नहीं होता है तो you can feel the wood. बहुत चुभता है अगर skin के अंदर गया. So it can leave a wound and there can be pus formation, etc. So very dangerous. Stood up like quills all over it. One of those slivers pierced the Maharaja's right hand. He pulled it out with his left hand and continued to play with the prince. The next day, infection flared in the Maharaja's right hand. In 4 days, it developed into a suppurating sore which spread all over his arm. Now, what is suppurating? Suppurating is festering, which leads to pus formation, as I told you. 3 famous surgeons were brought in from Madras. After holding a consultation, they decided to operate. The operation happened. The 3 surgeons who performed it came out of the theatre and announced the operation was successful. The Maharaja is dead. So they have carried out the operation, the surgery, but the Maharaja is no more. We could not save the Maharaja. In this manner, the 100th tiger took its final revenge upon the Tiger King. So in this manner, the story ended as the chief astrologer had said, that you are at risk from the 100th tiger. You can kill 99 tigers, but the 100th tiger. So the 100th tiger did not take the revenge directly. But after killing 99 tigers, he was at risk, and that's precisely what happened as a result of that particular wooden tiger. Okay, I hope this story समझ में आ गया. Please read the notes. Please read the question and answers so that this particular chapter is a sure shot as far as you are concerned with respect to the examination. Tata, bye.